All right, welcome everybody. I am here to unbox a few of my first OverPower packs. Thanks to Heroes and Games for finally getting those in the mail and out to me, because I only got some starter boxes to begin with, and then felt like I missed out as I got more and more excited, because I have not played OverPower since the mid-90s. I was a kid. We had a handful of the initial 3-stat boxes and packs that I would play with my brothers. And I think we probably got 1 or 2 Power Surge packs before we stopped. But we've always had them in our collections, and recently I've been getting more interested in getting back into card games now that I've been less enamored with Magic. So these are all going to be pretty new to me. I know you probably watched other videos so far where people will bust open packs and move through very quickly. I have not looked at any of the cards on Cardio, and when I've been watching some of the other unboxing videos, I've been more just listening to the excitement and only glancing in occasionally as opposed to actually reading the cards. So this movie is probably going to be a lot slower than many of you are used to. So if that's not for you, please tune in to the end. I'll lay out all my picks for you so you can see what I pulled. So I'm going to be talking about like what I think about some of these cards, what I'm excited with as I'm pulling them. And keep in mind, this is from a very newcomer perspective, because I will have no idea whether or not some of these cards are actually good or not. But I will be able to share what I'm excited about. So I'm going to be opening 9 cards today, just doing part of my box so I can get more familiar with what I actually open. So what am I looking for today? Well, I've been tuning into the OverPower Mountain podcast and got this awesome New York Comic-Con promo Leonidas. So I'm looking to get some fighting compliments for his team as well as getting all his specials. So that's number 1. I'm also really interested in getting some of the foil multi-powers. I don't think I own a multi-5, so that'd be really good to get one of those to begin with. I'm also looking for some cool Mummy and Headless Horseman alt arts, and anything with the Egyptian gods are pretty cool too. I really like the World Legends aspect of this. I'm not too familiar with Tarzan and the other ERB type of stuff, so anything World Legends will be something cool to get. So to begin with, I'm going to open one of these Deja packs, see what I get. Shift these out of the way. First OverPower pack in 30 years. And I get a modern age angry mob, go figure. I think these ones are kind of cool, to be honest. I like how they have a set of shared specials and then some different ones. So let's see what they actually have. Don't let it get away. That's, I think, a unique one. Can really surprise some people. Got plenty of those type of ones from my old cards. And I love the 7s. I think they're a very unexpected, hard-hitting play. So it's good that they have those. And that's the generic one as well. Okay, so it looks like a shield, one of those shield cards. I know Brood's got something like that, I think. But this one is not just a defense, it's blocking a specific attacker, so a little bit different. Oh, nice, another 7 and a partial lockout with that. So first pull, Angry Mob. I'll kind of set the normal ones to the side, and then Mummy. Nice. So I've got one of these from the starter boxes, but let's see what specials he's got, because I think he was pretty well loaded. It's nice, the the avoids, the partial avoids with a little bonus for making it work. And I love these cards. So one of the characters I'm most interested in playing is Morbius. That was one of our few power surge cards back in the day. So he's got a 5 energy that does this. I think that's such a cool mechanic, especially with the new Asclepion. So I'm very interested to play some of those in a deck. Switching permanents. I like these ones too. I definitely have to get used to all the venture mechanics. So back in the day, we just brawled and fought. So this kind of keeps that going. And then the negate. Character sketch. Oh, how about that? Angry mob to go with the angry mob. Interesting. I'll put that with my modern age angry mob. Oh, and surprise, I get my first foil on my first pack. We get one of these cool new teamworks. And then there we go. Mott. I'll have to look that up. And Time Traveler alt art. I'm interested to see what the Time Traveler specials are, as well as the Invisible Man. It sounds like they're kind of lower stat folks, but should be pretty interesting. All right, that's pack number 1. Let's get pack number 2 going. And we've got Sheriff of Nottingham. Brute Force. Okay, that makes sense. Trying to snuff out Robin Hood. Can make one or both follow-up attacks to teamwork he plays. That's pretty nice. Oof, brutal. Discard all place specials, and they can't play specials next battle. That's not even a 1 per deck either. Brute Force 9. I'm liking his cards already. That's pretty interesting. That type of mechanic, looking at other people's draw piles and knowing them, I'm gonna have to get used to how that works. +2 to actions for all remainder of battle. It seems you have to set something like this up quite a bit, because, you know, maybe if you have this teamwork, that makes it a good time to play it, because then each one of those teamworks is an additional bonus +2. So it's something you kind of have to hold on to and play, because normally I don't think you're playing, I mean, it doesn't seem like each individual character is throwing that many attacks. So we'll see. All right, discard placed, and add that to your venture total. That's pretty sweet. Well, I'm missing a Wicked Witch. That's not great. So I'm gonna hold off on looking at her stuff until I can get her character card. But all right, Zorro, another 8. Maybe someone to pair with Leonidas here. Some 2 big 8s. So I think that's just sort of a misprint, I should have gotten the Wicked Witch's card itself, but we'll see. So we got a Korak, teamwork. I think this is holograph. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of hard to tell in this light here anyway, but we got a 7 foil, and then just brought them up. Invisible Man. Cool. All right, so I'll be very interested to see the cards for Time Traveler and Invisible Man. And hopefully this mix-up gets corrected in some of my other packs. All right, pack number 3. All right, Hercules. Heard him talked a lot about one of the gods. And apparently he's got some real hefty attacks. Can't make follow-up attacks. Okay, locks him out a bit. Nice 6. And a void as well. Oh, and a 7 that kind of acts not exactly as a power card, but can be used for defense, so it's halfway there. That's pretty nice. And discard some remainder of battle, remainder of game cards. I think that's been talked about as being very strong. All right, Hercules, and now we got Tarkus. I'm not as big a fan of a lot of the John Carter artwork here. It's a very different style, and it's almost like too realistic, I think. So basic universe cards. I've been toying with the idea of making a deck since they seem like they're not very useful in most types of play, but maybe there's a way to stack some usefulness here when you have more of these guys that have some sort of innate. So combat and brute force. We've got a 6 any power. Okay, well, pairs up if you have John Carter. Interesting. More for place cards, which gets the bonus from his innate, and another 6. Interesting. Okay, more universe defense. And then I like all the big venture bonus. That's always a plus. Nice any home base. Those are always good to get. Dracula. Oh, this is a cool Wukong. And the Cthulhu 11. That's nice. I'm not sure if he came with that in the starter deck. And, ooh, I like that. Look at that burning cart. That is cool. I wonder if this is one of the rare arts or something, the ultra rares, because he looks, a lot darker than I would assume for Robin Hood. But this is cool. I would love to see what his cards are, because another good combat card. No foils in those packs to go with the other any power ones. Maybe I'll get a foil multi-power coming up. All right, we got Lancelot. Oh, starts with Sword and Shield. Let's see if we can find out what that is. Cool, you can defend others. That's helpful. Find Sword and Shield and gets more venture. For the Queen, if Sword and Shield is in play, can be used for defense. Okay, I like the dual power cards like that, or dual icons. Move a hit from his current battles or permanent record. That's nice. And retrieve Sword and Shield from the dead pile. All right, what is Sword and Shield? Here we go. He's +2 for remainder of battle. May discard this card from play to avoid one attack. All right, so you can use it and get it back from the dead pile. But if you don't use it, then all that just becomes more powerful. So that's interesting. Don't use his cards to keep him powerful. All right, we got another mix match here. I wonder if, so here's a bunch of Zorro cards. So that's good because I got Zorro in my last pack. So we get a 7 combat. We get a move the venture. That's great. Catch people by surprise. An attack and partial mill. Big intelligence attack and another mission card movement. And this one pretty much acts like a power card in full. So that's pretty sweet. All right, Zorro, you got your stack anyway. But now I've got Mismatched Zeus. So then we got some Teamworks card. Oh, that's cool. Mummy and Mr. Invisible. Invisible Man. Some pirates. Aladdin. Not sure who that is, but there we go. I was looking for it. Got my 5 multi, so I'm happy about that. And then Alt Art Cthulhu, double Cthulhu pack. That's sick. Look at that, the light in the storm. Incredible art. When I do my other videos, maybe I'll have to try a different lens on my camera. This is a little bit close, I think. All right, so King Arthur plus Venture, good combat and intelligence with a big 9. Teammate Avoid. Discard a card to reduce mission Venture. That's pretty impressive. It's not a 1 per deck either, so he and Lancelot combined can, or sorry, he and Zorro combined anyway can really mess with everyone's venture. So that's, I think there's something there. You might be expected to swoop in for the win, but you just cut their wins or losses. All right. Getting back some other cards. That's probably got a lot of synergy. A weak Avoid that can get stronger if he's paired. So Lancelot, King Arthur, Zorro, and I would say Leonidas as well, but I don't know if that's going to meet the point total. We have these two are going to cancel each other out. Zorro is a 20, so, and then 22, so I think we'd be too high, so I would need to get some lower characters in there too. All right, 3 Musketeers. 5 that plays an additional special, so an ally card pretty much. 7 combat. Wow, okay. Follow that up with some 1s, try and take people out. 8 multi, that's awesome. All right, 6. 5 that can get pumped up. That's pretty cool. Get some more evil teamworks. Another one of those Koraks, like father, like son. Heimdall any. Another 7. And there we go. Leonidas. But this one's not a promo, so that's interesting to me. Alright, we are back again. We got 4 packs to go. Swapped out the lenses, so hopefully you can see a little bit more of what's going on. And another pack. Sherlock Holmes, Intelligence Man himself. He's got a lockout for himself and for someone else. Negate. One special card. Okay, well, that's pretty nice. It's only one per deck though. 5 energy that reveals their hand. That's going to be a nice one. An offensive negate. I'm going to have to look up exactly what the offensive rules are. Oh, I just saw foil stack. It's my first one. But let's get there in a second. So you've got intelligence and move a ventured pile. So that's pretty sweet. That's for Zorro. This whole print run, it's been messed up. Because Zorro and Sherlock, and we had Wicked Witch I was missing. I got the Zeus, but all right, well, I don't know if they're uncommons, if I just got lucky actually, but we'll put them with Zorro and pop open this amazing shiny stack. Deja Thoris. I mean, this is some really cool artwork. I love the colors and the light and dark. I mean, very attractive piece here too. All right, let's see what Deja's got. 4 additional. Wow, for remainder of game, I can draw an additional card if they actually venture something. That's pretty sweet. All right, her intelligence goes and energy go up to 7. So the energy bonus isn't that high, but intelligence 3 to 7 is nice. And then another fantastic looking special. I think that armor is going to be a little impractical for her, but you know, I'm not going to complain. Avoid, and it stops those massive chains of stuff that I feel would be a really fun way to hammer an opponent. Sweet. Well, I'm very pleased with that. I like the idea of making either an energy brute force deck or an energy intelligence deck, just to see what that looks like. All right, so we got another Wicked Witch. Tossing that in her specials pile. Okay, cool. The modern version of Asclepion. I got it from the pack, which is like the promo one. Another one of these Dracula Paralyzing Gazes. Oh, here we go. Almost completing the set. So I've got 5, 6, 7, and 5 multi. And whoa, that is cool. All right, so I lied. I did actually look at some of his cards. I looked at some of the Angry Mobs and the Anubis before I was able to hold myself back on cardio. This one, man, that is really cool alternate. I want to make a deck with him and Mummy, and maybe even Headless Horseman too. See if that pairs up, because that is a card I want in front of me as much as I can get. Sweet. I still got to get his specials though. Let's hope. All right, Time Traveler. I saw Marcel get a foil one of these. It looks so cool at the portal. All right. Good, another energy intelligence type of guy. Could pair with Deja. Discard a card placed from each front line. That's pretty nice. 6 that can be bumped up to an 8 if you're fighting energies, and a void. Are you kidding me? Looks like I got another Deja stack in here. Actually, we'll get to that. Negate an event card that can be placed. It's, I think, unique. Goat was talking about that. Remove a permanent hit, another Asclepion. All right, well, I'm happy. So look at that. Another, I mean, it's definitely got to be one of the cooler looking foils out there. Just that, all that gold everywhere that just shines. And I like the idea of getting multiple stacks too, because if you get enough, then you can even run a whole deck with that. Be a little gaudy, but put them in sleeves and something cool to look at. So we've got some more Deja cards, and I don't know if that goes into the one before, because I think this is, we have 5, but I don't think I got the 5 champions. Yeah, I got Protector of Barsoom. Got that. I've only got 4 in that other stack, so that one was also cut out. I was supposed to get a duplicate Champions of Barsoom as well. Well, it's a little bit annoying that I got this box that's so misprinted. Or misaligned, I suppose. All right, so 5, teamwork, nice. That's a cool big attack and a 7. It's like that 5 I was telling you about, but even stronger. So I can go back with the mummy. Then we got a teamwork and a Tarzan, non-foil, but pretty cool artwork. Another good fighting. You can avoid intelligence. That gives you a little bit more to work with. All right. Getting closer here, guys. Getting closer. All right, the Dracula. Like I said, I'm trying to space this all out because I don't know if I'm going to get another box from here. I think I want to try and find more people to play with. Get others interested before I really spend a lot of money into this. I mean, I'm definitely interested in going to tournaments, but if I show up to a tournament in a brand new deck that's never been played before, it would still be fun to meet everyone. It just is probably not going to be that good. I'm sure everyone would love it if I go in and go 0-7 and hand you guys some wins. But that's not the goal. Wow, okay, so if he gets to remove all hits, but they still count towards venture, he just stays alive. Still makes him immortal pretty much. All right, the vampire negates going on here. Discard a special card to negate 1. That's cool. 5 with an additional. That's sick art too. More like Nosferatu going on. No teammates. Nice. And the partial void. I don't like these. I feel like you have to make some educated guesses where your gaps are going to be to make those useful. All right, finally, the Wicked Witch. I'm kind of surprised she's got the 8 energy. I don't think there's anyone else from Alice in Wonderland in here, so it's kind of a strange one-off. Made with universes, okay. Knocks herself out of combat. Okay, find basic universe, well that's handy. I forget who that was, Tarkus maybe? Does the other basic universe retrieval. All right, defense, and then nice 8 multi. All right. It's good that we finally fixed her stack. Now I just gotta do that with Mr. Zeus. Teamwork. I feel like this doesn't match that. I don't know what that little animal thing is. Nice, look at that. That's so cool. I used to like the, was it Super Scroll for multi? But I think this one's even cooler. So I'm really happy to pull that. All right, and look at that, all art raw. Dude, Anubis hasn't beat, but this is awesome. Look, he's got the 8 energy too. Man, all right. And I heard about his staff. A nice kind of auto KO somebody. I don't know if that counts as an action because it's an innate, but that would be pretty interesting. You just have someone with hits on him, discard his cards, and oh, by the way, you're knocked out. All right, final pack. Final pack before I go over everything that I've got here. Nice, Headless Horseman. Yeah, this is such a cool artwork. His the power card with him on it is pretty incredible too. So like that energy and brute force. It's another guy, a little bit like Lancelot, where he really goes with his mark of the headless. Gets more powerful if that happens to be out. Yeah, it can't be defended if it's got it. Makes them weak. Knocks out. So, I mean, you just got to get it to as a pull in here. So that's, I mean, this is just such a cool artwork, and it's a 6 that you can do after a concede. Granted, it's got that limitation. Okay, yeah, there we go. You can find his Mark of the Headless from any pile. So, pretty cool. All right, and this Van Helsing, I have not seen much about him actually, but look at that, good combat guy. 20. So one of these guys works well to be paired with Lancelot. Good against Dracula too, so we'll have to see. He's got a negate, 1 per deck. Nice 6 multi. 3 that can't be defended with a special card. I think that's a 1 per deck. Oh, and it does an additional. That's actually really nice. That is really, really nice. So nice defense against everything that's not universe. And that 5, actually, I really like this. Might be one of the favorite card sets that I've pulled so far. I mean, I liked the Robin Hood art. I would be really interested to see what his cards are. All right, let's see what our uncommons here. Very cool Cult. Cthulhu, I'm guessing. Morgan Le Fay. I wonder if this triggers Asclepion multiple times. I'm going to guess no. You wouldn't want to be able to pull like 3 cards from your deck or something and then throw them out at an opponent. But that's pretty cool. All right, Wicked Witch, that matches up. I don't know how much benefit there is for the character in reserve stuff, aside from maybe it being more of a free venture total hit, since they can't really defend it quite the same. Or can they? You guys will have to let me know whether or not a character in reserve can defend with their own specials if it's not placed. And I love this ability where the character doesn't move up from reserve. I feel like that probably just weakens you so much for one round. So if you get that to trigger, then you just push on the venture and really go for it, because you've got 3 characters, they've got 2, so probably they got some sort of weakness from that. All right, I can go to the Wicked Witch's somewhat double stack. Got the Musketeers. Oh, nice. Headless Horseman. I'm doing pretty good. I didn't get the Mummy duplicate, but Anubis, Ra, Headless Horseman, Cthulhu, Invisible Man, Time Traveler, 29 is the double Deja Thors, this awesome Robin Hood. All right, let's take you over it here. Not bad. Plus the 2 5s there. All right, guys, thanks for listening. I'll be posting some of these probably next week or two, and hope to play with you guys soon.